Growing up in Mullaghmore, I often looked out across the sea to Inishmurray, as it was called locally. It always had a fascination for me. In later years, as I fished around the island, among other places, I planned to visit Inishmurray and spend at least one overnight at the perfect time. The perfect time for me would be when the bluebells were in bloom. I could visualise the bright new blue of the spring flowers set against the ancient grey stones and lichen that had seen man come and go on this ancient land. Eventually, when I got there, I was not disappointed. So here we go on Peter's lobster boat for a trip to the island. We're stopping here to pick up a few creels. We're fishing inside of Rosskirk, just outside of Mullaghmore. So we'll see what Peter's getting in the pot. Not much yet anyway, a few crabs. He's a bit slow with the crabs this morning. It's a bit early in the morning yet. So we'll just listen to what's going on. Well, that's the hauling done. Not very productive morning so far. So now Peter's going to move up a bit and shoot the creels. After he shoots the creels, we'll head on for Inishmurray. Well, here we are anyway at Inishmurray. It has an area of 209 acres and was probably inhabited from the 6th century on. But there's evidence to show the work of human hands as far back as 1500 BC. O'Rourke, in his history of Sligo, written in the late 1800s, says it is the most interesting spot in the parish of Hamlish. He goes on to say that nature has perhaps sufficiently provided its 109 inhabitants, 58 males and 51 females, with the mere necessities of life: meat, drink, fuel and clothing. Meat in abundance of wholesome fish, drink in 2 excellent wells that never run dry, fuel in a stretch of bog, and woolen clothing, the only clothing the islanders wear, in the wool of the hardy sheep, which with a good stock of black cattle and a number of asses constitute all the flocks and herds of the island. The dwellings are 15 in number, built of flags and sandstone, roofed with straw and strongly and elaborately tied down with ropes. We're coming into Cashel harbour now, and when we're coming into Cashel, the cloddock that's in the middle background has to be cleared off the point of land, otherwise you're running danger of going up on rocks. We should be on the island in about 5 minutes. Way out. Perfect landing conditions. Not a drop of swell in it. Light breeze coming off the land. Trying to get across ropes. Well, the gulls are settling down, but I left this fella here to keep an eye on me. I don't think they still trust me. This is Martin Herity's house. It's the first house as you come up from Cashel. Houses are gradually falling into ruin. The next house over is Waters's. This is the road that runs along the front of the island. It's like a green carpet. Grass never seems to grow very long. You can see the lichen on the ditches, or lichen. It grows very well. They say that's a sign of unpolluted air. Here we have a family of eider duck. I believe the males are the black and white ones, and the females are the darker coloured ones, with a few young ones in the middle. Going for a Sunday swim, paddling about and having a chat and an odd fight, just like every family. It's a nice, calm, peaceful morning. That's the sentinel of the island. It follows me everywhere as I go along. I think he's paid by the other gulls as a scout to watch me, see if I do anything out of the way. Well, that's the reason for coming this time of the year, the fields of bluebells. They're just unbelievable. The camera can't capture the bright blue that you see in that field. These holes in the gable are air holes. They were used on the mainland for byres where you'd keep cattle for air. Sometimes where you'd store turf if the turf were wet. You have a few holes in the gable. So I'd suppose that they serve the same purpose here. Now we're coming up to Waters's house. Through the gateway, I suppose many a herd of cattle was driven through there. People lived on the island. I'm sure there wasn't as many bluebells anyway. Wouldn't make very good food stuff for cattle. We'll just take a look in the windows here at the way things are now. All falling down. Nature reclaiming things to itself. Yeah. Peter MacArthur was saying on the way in that, say 20 years ago, you could come in here and play a gramophone in this house. It must have been left there, or else people took it out. But that's some of the thatch there. The ridge, everything's fallen in. Some of the sod left. Probably the ridge pole. All fallen in. Give it enough time, it'll be just a mound. This is on the other side of the road, probably used for cattle. I think this is the front entrance here. Front door. Seems kind of low. I don't know, Francis, if you ever get to see this, you'll say, well, they age it. But anyway, this is the front door. Nothing left to the roof. Imagine the care that went into building those stones and finding them and quarrying them and bringing them here. Back door's gone. That looks like the remains of an old bed that used to be in all the kitchens long ago. And quite a fancy fireplace for an old house. And I like the way the stones, the soldiers are standing there over the wooden brace. Even the sea pinks have seated themselves on the wall. Very nice. And we'll go on. peaceful setting. What a peaceful setting. This is Champel na Man, and Standing Stone on the outside. The women's burial ground is just under Champel na Man. They couldn't be buried. The men were buried inside Cashel. There's a story that says the monks requested at one time they'll be allowed to keep a cow. But the answer they were given was an áitse bí an bó bí an ban, agus an áitse bí an ban bí an murchún. But that's Mary Mannion on the left, Mary Waters and Margaret Waters. With, of course, the church there. So I would say it is Champel na Man. Looking back now on Cashel. Sea of blue again, with some white flowers in between. Cashel in the background is built of stone and probably dates to pre-Christian times, parts of it anyway. But the work at Cashel is mostly attributed to St. Malash and dates from the 6th century. St. Malash came from Ochris in Chirera to the island. His first name was Murdoch, and a lot of people believe that he gave the island its name, Inishmurray or Inishmurray. Well, just in case you're tired of looking at bluebells, this is a fact of life on the island as well. I see rabbits and birds and that scattered here and there. This is a little pier that was built by the Board of Works, but it's not used much at low water. As you can see, there's not enough water there to bring a boat in. Well, I thought it'd be no harm to give it to the birds there for a minute, let them do some of the background music. This is the entrance to Cashel. Florrie Brady was born around here. She left the island when she was 18, and she's going to tell us a few things about the island.
The ship that came in at the time of the Troubles. The time of the Troubles in Ireland. They came a boat into the island.
The Terta?
The Terta.
Oh.
Tell us about that.
Oh, they must be all figured.
What was
The Terta came into the island, right, and we were all in school.
Yeah.
They came over, the soldiers with their hats,
Yeah.
and into the school with guns, and we all were crying. Daniel, their officer put them back out. Went over, they went down to the Terta, brought up a machine gun.
Yeah.
They brought up the machine gun and put it on the top of that. They cleaned all the houses, school and all over the road. And when the officer came along,
Yeah.
or the officer, there was no other one left.
Yeah.
Oh, they were bad.
And did they do any damage before they left?
They broke Dr. Hertie's mother's house, took away a firkin of butter.
Yeah.
They went and broke King Walter's place, took away more butter. And they went up to the chapel and rooted it upside down.
Yeah.
And it went no further.
And when they tell you, did they take anybody with them off the island?
They did Mike Brady and Dan
Yeah.
and Pat.
And where did they take them to?
Up to the town, up to Sligo.
Up to the station of town?
Aye.
For questioning?
Aye. There was a citizen of you.
I'm going to tell you, were they left back again with it?
Aye, because the officer, the mother, Dan's mother, cried to the officer that that's all she had.
Yeah.
So he took off his watch and handed the watch. We'll be back in the morning. So
Give the watch as a proof that he took
that's
it
right,
back.
he's back in the morning.
And we're back in the morning.
Aye.
Right.
We're getting closer to the Cashel now. The walls are about 15 feet high and the width varies from 8 to 10 feet. There's several chambers running through the walls. That's Knocklane Hill and Arbolan Island in the distance. And I'm just inside the entrance. That's a blaze of colour here with bluebells. Fantastic. Very nice. Inside the stone circle we have Tory Vrenel is the beehive shaped building, and in the back is Champel na Chinna. Or not Champel na Chinna, Choc na Chinna. There's also Champel na Var, Champel Malash. And the bluebells grow, as you can see, profusely in here. This is back at the point that you enter. It's not the original entrance. The curtain stones will be one of the most talked about features of the Cashel. It's said that no matter how many times you count them, you'll always come up with a different number. And it's supposed that you can use them to put a curse on somebody. But if the curse is not justified, it'll come back on yourself. There are two unusual stones in the back with holes in them. I don't know if anybody knows what the significance of these stones are. It's amazing that these stones have stayed here through the centuries and not been disturbed. See, it fits right into that little groove on the top there. This one's quite unusual as well. Pull it over, see there's a hole in the top of that. Very nice.
There's the one dead.
No.
Yeah.
The men was buried up in the Cashel, and the women was buried in the lower grave place.
Well, sure, the men was buried on one side
Aye,
and the
but
women
right
was on one
hand
side.
why? Now before ever I was born, before anyone was born, there was old people in it, but their wife, the husband died, a young man, whatever happened, but this woman died too, his wife.
Yeah.
They took buried the wife above, as in along with the husband above the Cashel.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And crying, they came home, and the next day, some of them was, I think it was my father or something was, gone round with the Cashel, and he went in to say a prayer to the thing, and then they see the coffin overhead. And he said, my God, they never buried the woman.
Yeah.
He went down and I went over to the man who wants to bury the coffin. They had to take the coffin and go down to the graveyard at our lane down in there and bury the woman below there. No woman whatsoever, and none or anything, can't be buried above there, for the monks is buried there.
Oh, it can't be buried with the men.
No,
Have to be buried
no way.
one separate side.
No.
Now we're going to walk through this entrance here.
We'll walk past what may have been a sweat house. And just ahead is the beehive-shaped structure. Sometimes it's called a schoolhouse because there's a low bench inside that resembles a school bench. It could have been a wake house because the name implies waking house of the Virgin. That's the entrance to it on the roof. You're coming into Champel na Chinna.